Welcome to a brand new video with Borderlands 3, but this time it is not going to be a gameplay video. It's going to be similar to my Doom video where I'm going to be a bit more informative. But this time I've got a friend with me who's a bit more well-known. He knows more about the game than I do. I'm still pretty much a casual, but I'm learning a lot from this guy. Introduce yourself, please.
Oh, I'm Sticks. And that's all the introduction I know.
Okay. He has, I've been introduced with another friend, and been playing Borderlands 3 since.
Yep, and having lots of fun.
Lots of gun.
Amazing. I love it, Borderlands.
Yeah.
That's why I got approximately 400 hours in the game right now.
And I have a tenth of that. But we're here to talk about the guns, including early, late, and mid-game stuff. Start with the most important factor that when you're looking at is the basics. So your damage, your accuracy, handling, reload time, fire rate, and magazine size. That is one of the first things you look at when you're looking at a gun. Apart from the fact of what type of gun you're using. But I've got assault rifle, shotgun, and 2 snipers. Sticks, take it away.
So I'd say another very important thing, especially for the early game, or only for the early game actually, is the item score. The item score will result into the most damage. Obviously not counted the somewhat gimmicky guns. If you have a item score of 125 and one of 325, the 325 will guaranteedly do more damage. Besides it being a weird gun or how it handles, the flat out damage will be more. That being said, as soon as you reach level 57, aka late game, there is no longer a point paying any attention to that item score.
Where are you? There you are.
I'm up on the table.
Would you like to drop a level 57 weapon, please?
Yep. So I'll actually drop a few. I'll drop a few SMGs. So all these SMGs have different item scores.
So this one has 654, this second one has 644, and this third one has 624.
So out of all of these, I would say the item score. Yeah, the item score says nothing. So obviously it kind of depends who you ask, but between all of these, the lowest item score performs the best.
Why is that though?
That is just because of what kind of weapon it is. So if we look at, we have a cutsman, we have a redistributioner, and we have a crossroad. So obviously everybody knows that with Borderlands and legendaries come their kind of, what will we call them? Skills, whatever they do. The redistributioner, well, you can read it with this one. Actually, you can read it under every 7 shot is amped, and then it says amped shots change to nearby enemies.
Nice.
The crossroad, it says open the gate for me, and I believe basically all this does is it shoots 3 bullets and consumes more ammo per shot. And then last we have the cutsman, which basically shoots 2 bullets with a elemental line in between them. So if I pick this up and I start shooting these, you'll see 2 bullets and they kind of, I don't know, start going apart and you know, get this line. Anything in between that line is getting damaged. So looking at these 3 weapons and the item score says nothing, because this is the best weapon out of all of these. It will result into the highest damage. So again, pay attention to the item score when you're leveling, but once you start looking for your end game gear, that item score means nothing.
Another thing they've added in the game is secondary functions on weapons. So, for example, I have a bipod on this gun. So without it, I'm shooting like this. If I just like to reload. And with it on, it increases my accuracy by tenfold. Making it quite easy, but I have to slow the right down to do it. So a lot of guns have different secondary functions. So, I actually had another one there. Which one has the secondary
function? I have
function?
one right here that shoots electric. And then I can switch it to the secondary fire, which does corrosive.
This one for me is radiation, so pew pew pew. Reload. Which can switch to shock. So
yeah,
it also,
I think it's a very nice addition to the game.
Yes, dual elements on weapons is a great addition to the game. But elements also play a larger part in this game than it did in the previous games.
Yeah, I'd say it's a lot more important. I'd say a lot more of your damage in the later game types, for example, the Malawan Run or the Slaughterhouses, depend on your element. There's obviously still builds out there that can obliterate anything with any weapon. But those are usually very specific builds that need very specific rolls on specific items. So I'm not going to take those into account. I'm going to say for the general public, the element is still a very important thing. But they've added a very nice thing to help us with that, which is something called anointments. And anointments are basically things to improve already amazing gear. I will drop a few things out there to show people what we're talking about.
So the anointments in relation of what you're looking at are the bottom bit of orange and yellow text that are all on these different weapons. So we'll start with this one at the end here, the an old god.
Well, let's start with a bit of explanation about the anointments and how they regards to weapons.
Oh yeah.
So with weapons, there's a few different anointments. They are either general anointments or class specific. So this sniper right here, for example, is a class specific one. If Amara, which is the siren of Borderlands 3, face cast, this weapon gains 250% damage, which is obviously a ridiculous amount.
That is like,
so,
holy shit, that's a lot of numbers.
Yes, it is ridiculous. So whenever I cast this skill, I gain 250% damage with this weapon. There's also general stuff. So for example, this pistol or this SMG, which the SMG, when your action skill ends, I gain 100% damage increase. A little in-depth mechanic with that, faking your skills, as they call it, also works. So for example, as a Mara, I can do my face grasp, which usually grasps my enemy into a bubble. If I don't cast that at anything, for example, if I look at the floor and my cursor has nothing to cast it on, the game still counts me as using that skill. So even when technically I haven't used it, because it instantly comes off cooldown, the anointment will count it as used. So I will gain 100% more damage if I do that.
Ah.
Characters like, for example, Zane can do that as well. Zane has a little sentinel, a little drone he can put out. And what you can do is you can animation cancel with him. So you can activate your sentinel and instantly open up your menu, which cancels the animation, but still allows you to proc all your kill skills and all your anointments. That's the on action skill end. Then the last good anointment I would say is the consecutive hit one, which is where I see the most confusion. So this says consecutive hits increase weapon damage by 1% per hit. Misses remove all bonuses. So a lot of people think that that means that you need to get consecutive hits with this pistol. So they think that whenever I want to increase my damage by 1%, I need to hit every bullet on this pistol.
Did we go to the shooting range for this?
Yep. I'll take these. So we'll run down. It's very easy. It does not mean that. It does not mean that at all. And I'm not sure if this is intentional. So this weapon, this is the Hell Shock. So people think whenever I want to increase my damage, I need to do this. I need to consistently hit everyone, and as soon as I do this, oh shit, I've lost all my damage.
I'm not seeing any damage numbers.
No, I will. I'm only one seeing my own damage numbers, sadly enough. So, I'm hitting, I'm getting consecutive hit, and I'm missing shit. All my damage is gone. That is technically what it means if you would only be using this weapon. As soon as you add any other damage type of any other damage source that comes from you, it counts towards consecutive hits.
Oh.
So, in other words, if I shoot this weapon and then throw a grenade that hits him, that is also counted as a consecutive hit. If I, for example, if I'm playing a character like Zane or like Flak, where you have a pet that can shoot, the game also counts that. So as long as I'm holding this weapon, every damage I do increases the damage of this weapon by 1%.
Nice.
Any type of damage. Another fun little, I'd say, geeky thing about the consecutive hit thing is with the consecutive hit, we are talking about multiplicative damage, not additive. So it gets quite crazy quite quickly. Once you start working in percentages and multiplicative damage, it gets out of control.
So does that multiplication go up infinitely?
So for the consecutive hit ones, it doesn't. I think it caps out at around 150 to 200%, if I'm correct.
Ah.
But I'm not entirely sure about that. It goes quite high. I think it is technically slightly better than the 100% damage on ASE. ASE meaning action skill end. But I'm not for sure about that. I don't know the actual numbers.
Oh.
But besides that, I'd say those are the two general best ones to have. Some other good ones, more specific. For Flak, I would call myself a Flak main. I will only look at consecutive hits or 100% ASE weapons. For Amara, I would say 100% ASE is the best. For Zane, he has a specific one which gives him 100% cryo damage when his Sentinel's active. I would say that's his best. And Mose, I have very little experience with.
Mose is the character I'm playing now, and I'm still figuring out what I'm doing with her because she's not fully leveled yet. I only have 40 odd hours on this game.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's really fun. I have a leveled, but that's a very gimmicky build, so I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. And I think the only last thing to say about the anointments is the importance of anointments and elements. So shields and grenades can come with on action skill and bonus elemental damage. That basically allows you to use any weapon and still get elements. So for example, on my Flak, I basically only use Jacob's weapons because I love Jacob's weapons, but most of them have no element damage at all. So I use grenades and shields to add elements to those weapons. So if I need shock damage, I'll swap to a grenade that gives me shock damage. If I need corrosive, I'll swap to a shield or a grenade or whatever that gives me corrosive.
Huh.
And they are late game are greatly important. Element damage. I would say without element damage, you won't be able to get through kind of the hardest content of the game right now.
Which would be late game bosses mostly.
Yeah, I would say the Malawan takedown is the hardest thing you can do in the game right now, which consists of a bit of a mobbing session, so killing just badasses and that kind of stuff. Then you head into a boss area, which consists of 3 mech bosses. Then you have another mobbing area, and then you come to the last boss, which is Wotan the Invincible, which is, in my opinion, the hardest boss in the game right now.
Isn't that the raids, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done the raids yet, although that won't take too long.
It's a lot of fun. Like, playing through the normal Borderlands story, I was really I wasn't sure if I liked Borderlands 3 than my previous favorite, which is the pre-sequel. But playing through the raids and stuff like that, I definitely prefer Borderlands 3 over the pre-sequel.
That's fair. Is that everything that we've got?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we'll probably make another video for some fun glitches and some fun things you can abuse in the game. But yeah, that's, I think, something for a different video.
Yeah, this is a different video. But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed listening and you feel informed about playing Borderlands 3. If you are new to the game, feel free to check out, I would say check out his channel, but he doesn't have one yet.
We'll see if I make one or not. We'll see.
I'll bully him into it, don't worry. And then if you want to see more videos on this, or you have a specific thing you want us to talk about, feel free to comment down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. You gonna say bye?
Oh, I'm sorry. Bye-bye.